What do we want? Jiri Prochazka versus Aleksandar Rakic. When do we want it? Immediately, please. Straight away. It's a perfect title elimination bout in the light heavyweight division. Jan Blachowicz has even ordered it to happen in his own light heavyweight division, which I find very, very enjoyable. I need to see Jiri Prochazka versus Aleksandar Rakic. They're both on win streaks. They're both young. They're both in the prime of their careers. They're both really marketable, and they're right next to each other in the rankings, and they have no other opponents right now. Let's make Prochazka versus Rakic immediately, please, because I'll tell you this. Jan Blachowicz versus Teixeira just got delayed until October. I am not waiting until 6 months after October to watch Jiri Prochazka fight again for the belt. He's going to lose all momentum, all kinds of hype. Don't get me wrong, he is very, very marketable. I'm a huge fan of Jiri Prochazka. He has amazing finishes, an amazing finish rate as well. He is everything you would want in a champion of the UFC. He's incredibly marketable. However, I am not waiting 10 months until watching Jiri Prochazka fight for the belt. That just will not happen in my life. That is a complete waste of his prime. I think we need to make a great matchup. Rakic versus Prochazka, Serbia versus the Czech Republic. Let's make the fight happen immediately. I know Rakic obviously fights out of Austria, but Serbia as well, I guess, can be in the mix because he's ethnically Serbian, but he fights out of Austria. Little bit of a situation there, but even still, what is it nowadays? Covington's doing the same thing. I understand, listen, and Covington is in a similar position to Jiri Prochazka, except there's no title fight going on in the welterweight division. Jiri Prochazka, I understand why he says he wants to wait for the belt, because if I had worked my entire life for something, and that something was a world championship in the light heavyweight division of the UFC, and it was offered to me, if I waited and sat on the sidelines, I would take it. And I don't blame Jiri Prochazka for not wanting to risk a fight with Aleksandar Rakic in the meantime, even though I do believe he will beat Aleksandar Rakic, and I'll give a little bit of my opinions on an early prediction and breakdown of the fight as this video goes on. But for right now, I understand why Jiri does not want to fight Rakic. He's behind him in the rankings. He's already been promised a title shot anyway. I doubt Rakic is going to take on another guy in the division and win more impressively than Jiri Prochazka won against Dominic Reyes. Jiri's way more marketable. I understand why he would want to wait on the sidelines, just like I understand why Covington has been waited on the sidelines. As much as it really infuriates and fucking annoys me, he has been promised a title shot against Kamaru Usman, so why would he take another fight? I get it. But come on, I'm not waiting until fucking April to watch Jiri fight again, because guess what? The winner of Jiri Prochazka, no, the winner of Teixeira versus Jan Blachowicz is in their fucking 40s or late 30s. They are going to need 6 months to recover, okay? They just really are going to need 6 months to recover and fight again in April of next year. And I don't want all of the hype around Jiri Prochazka's name to die out. We need this fight with Rakic in the meantime, and I get it, Jiri. You could be destroying Aleksandar Rakic in a fight that I believe you would probably win. I'd say 7 or 6 times out of 10 against Aleksandar Rakic. You could win that fight the entire way through, and Rakic could throw a spinning back fist at the end of the second round and catch you on the chin, and you could go down and be KO'd and not get your title shot and have to win another 3 fights in a row before eventually getting it again. I understand, and Jiri understands as well, because he has been KO'd in the earlier part of his career against King Mo. I know he avenged that loss afterwards, but still, Jiri understands there is a chance every single time he goes out there that he can be KO'd by an opponent, whether or not he thinks he can beat them or not. So I'm not saying that he's ducking Aleksandar Rakic. That's not the case. Aleksandar Rakic wants to fight with Jiri Prochazka. Here's the situation with Aleksandar Rakic, though. Jiri was offered to Rakic many times in Rakic's career, and Rakic repeatedly said, "No, I'm not taking steps backwards. I don't fight guys below me in the rankings. I've earned my shot up the rankings towards the light heavyweight title." Now Jiri's above him in the rankings. Rakic really wants the Jiri Prochazka fight. So now Rakic is getting a little bit of a taste of his own medicine because he ignored Jiri Prochazka for so long and didn't want to fight him. And now Jiri is a guy who can get Rakic a title shot. Rakic wants to fight him. I understand why Rakic is doing this. I really doubt that Rakic is going to get a title shot over Jiri if both of them wait. Jiri's performance against Dominic Reyes was way more impressive than Rakic's performance against Thiago Santos. In fact, Rakic arguably If there's like one extra strike landed by Thiago Santos in that first round, Rakic arguably could have lost that one. I don't know how he got 30-27 on the scorecards. He definitely lost the third round, and it wasn't too entertaining either. Jiri Prochazka destroyed Dominic Reyes in a Fight of the Year candidate, and plus Dominic Reyes had a better performance against John Jones than the guy Thiago Santos did. So everything dictates that if both of these men wait out on the sidelines, Jiri will get the title shot over Aleksandar Rakic. But why are we fucking waiting out on the sidelines? Let's get this shit going, okay? Battle of Europe, title elimination bout. The winner takes on the winner of Teixeira versus Jan. It's perfect, and Jan Blachowicz, I like him as a champion because he does this. He'll sit down and he'll say, that guy needs to fight that guy, I'll fight the winner, that guy needs to fight that guy. We don't have this with other champions in the UFC. I actually thought for a very long time that now the light heavyweight division is actually more orderly and reasonable and structured than the other divisions in the UFC, because you don't have these guys sitting out waiting for title shots. But here we are, just like Gaethje's been doing, just like Covington's been doing, just like a lot of people in a lot of divisions have been doing. Stipe will now try and do this in the heavyweight division, I'm sure. He will try and sit out on the sidelines and get his title shot. Why can't people follow the Whittaker method and just fight people, get your title shot, build up all your hype, renegotiate your contract, now you're an undeniable contender, and get big money for a title fight? I don't understand. Jiri has had 2 fights in the UFC. Unless he wants to be fighting for the belt at about, I don't even know what he earns, but I'm going to make a random guess that he might be showing up for a belt with like 90k show money. He's on his first contract with the UFC. I don't know how much he earns, but he's not going to be renegotiating his contract here. They have nothing to owe him. He doesn't have any power over the UFC at this point in his career. If he asks for too much money for a title shot, they could just say, oh, we'll give it to Rakic for less. He's not undeniable yet. And also, I want to mention this as well. Who the fuck ever said that Jiri versus Reyes was a title elimination bout? Reyes was coming off a brutal loss to Jan Blachowicz. Who the ever? I know that afterwards the commentary team said, and you are next for the belt. And I was like, what? Rakic just beat Santos. And before that he beat Anthony Smith. And before that he basically beat Volkan Ozdemir. He got robbed completely, but he clearly beat Volkan Ozdemir 2-1. Like, I don't understand when it was just written beforehand that the winner of Reyes versus Prochazka was going to get a title shot. I never agreed to that as a fan. But now Jiri feels like he deserves a title shot. I understand. I'm trying not to offend these two passionate fan bases here. But fuck me. Fight each other. And shut the fuck up, okay? We need this fight to happen. Let's make it happen now. I know Jiri and Rakic don't really like each other. But who cares? Why not beat the shit out of each other for it, huh? Improve your contracts. Get more money. Get more fame. Get more value, then renegotiate as an undeniable #1 contender for your title shot. Ask for 500,000, and if they say no, who are they going to give the fucking title shot to? The winner of Ankalaev versus Ozdemir? I don't fucking think so. Become an undeniable #1 contender, renegotiate for 500,000 to show for a belt, and you'll get your 500,000 to show. Let's make the fight. I think Jiri Prochazka will beat Aleksandar Rakic. In all honesty, I really do. I think Rakic likes things to be perfect in his bouts. And I think that Prochazka will bring the chaos and Rakic won't like it. Plus, Rakic, if there is a problem that we've seen in his career so far, is that moving backwards under pressure, he does get clipped sometimes. We saw that against Devin Clark. We've seen that in other fights. He does not seem to like the idea of getting hit on the chin. I understand every fighter doesn't like the idea of getting hit on the chin. But Rakic fights in a way which tells me that he's not the kind of guy to grit down and take a punch to give one back like Jiri Prochazka is. And I think the chaos of Prochazka could cause problems to Rakic if he's moving backwards the entire time, and Prochazka could eventually land a big shot on Rakic's chin and finish him off in the first round. If I had to make a prediction for this fight and there's a gun to my head, I would say Jiri Prochazka first round KO. But I know it's risky, because guess what? Rakic has legs the size of a fucking horse, and if he kicks you in the legs a couple of times, you aren't Jiri Prochazka anymore, okay? You're an idiot hopping around on one leg in a cage. I understand that Jiri will probably go out there and KO Rakic. I believe it to be true. But I also understand that Rakic could chew up that leg 3 times in the first minute of the fight, and all of a sudden Jiri, who's a pressure forwards, non-stop moving forwards fighter, can't move forwards anymore because his leg is destroyed. I understand that is a reality, okay? I just want the fight to happen. So let's get it done. Jan versus Glover has been fucking suspended until October. Let's just fucking make this fight happen. In November, main event of a fight night. In October, main event of a fight night. Or even on the October pay-per-view card as the feature fight, Rakic versus Prochazka. And even tell Prochazka, who's in a better situation right now and doesn't want to fight Aleksandar Rakic because it's a step back. Tell Prochazka, hey, you're going to go on the same card as Glover versus Jan. And if anything happens to anyone in the main event between these two elderly gentlemen, who are most likely probably going to get injured, and I would argue one of them probably is injured, as that's probably why the fight got postponed a little bit by another month. It's at the end of October now. That's an extra, I believe, 6 or so weeks since the date in August that it was originally on, or whatever, the date in September that it was originally on. October, we need to make that fight happen and say, hey, Jiri, if anything happens to the main event of this fight, you're the guy who steps in, and Rakic will find a replacement opponent, and that's how he'll get his title shot. But Jiri, you take this fight. If anything happens in the main event, we'll shimmy you right up and you can get your title shot. And if he doesn't say yes, I think we have to start getting brutal again. I think we're getting a little bit too soy boy cuckish in the UFC, and I don't like that right now. I think we need to start fucking laying down the law. I think we need to start booting some doors in, okay? If Jiri says no to the title shot, guess what? Rakic is getting it. And Jiri's going to know that as well. That's what I would do if I was in charge of the UFC right now. Hey, Jiri, do you want the title shot? Wait, no. Hey, Jiri, we're doing a fight between you and Aleksandar Rakic. If you say no and Rakic says yes, we're giving Rakic the title shot. And Jiri will say yes very fucking quickly, or he won't have a title shot. Capiche? Make the fucking fight. I'm sick of these top contenders sitting on their fucking ass for 8 months and not being active. And guess what? Activity benefits them. Improve your contract. Become undeniable. Then renegotiate, or you end up like fucking Marvin Vettori fighting for a fucking world championship for about 200 grand. You don't want that. Become undeniable, renegotiate, get more money, out-activity your champion so you can have a bit of a better chance of beating them when you eventually do. Stay active, improve your skills, get some more ideas on what you need to improve on after the fight, because every single fight, I'm sure these fighters come away with some ideas on how they would change things and how they would improve their performance. Make the fight happen. I'm sick of it. Let's do it right now, and let's build some more hype, because we need good main events. Every main event of a fight night this year, in my opinion, has been rather shit, in all honesty. Like, there's just not really much you can say about it. Like, Gane versus Volkov is a good main event this year. I'll leave that out there. Jung versus Ige, good main event this year, but really, is it? Rosenstruck Sakai, Font versus Garbrandt, these are decent. Marina Rodriguez, Michelle Waterson. Reyes versus Prochazka was probably the best main event of a fight night this year, outside of Whittaker versus Gastelum. And probably was Whittaker versus Gastelum as well. But that was Gastelum on short notice. Before that, we had Vettori versus Holland. Before that, we had Brunson versus Holland as a main event. Before that, we had Edwards and Bilal Muhammad as the main event of a fight night. What happened to title elimination bouts in fight night main events? Bring them back, please. I'm fucking bored shitless here. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Battle of Europe. Prochazka versus Rakic. End of fucking story. Click that button up there. Toodle pip.